The thing I want to make extremely clear, the driver intentionally and aggressively accelerated their vehicle into a crowd of people. He incited the violence, period. And then I turned over my shoulder and I saw sticking out of, fully extended out of the driver window, was his left arm with a handgun in his hand. And I watched several more shots get fired. I saw the orange flashes off the top of the gun. I don't know whether or not Garrett pointed his gun at the vehicle. The driver called 911 the moment he started driving away. He knows how to play the system, clearly, because he called the authorities. He got his story in first. That's how you play these things, to try to get in as least trouble, the smallest amount of trouble possible. Out of the 5 bullets that he shot, 3 of them went into Garrett. You cannot tell me that that was not intentionally aimed at Garrett.
Why'd you got it out tonight?
They don't let us march in the streets anymore, so got to practice some of our rights.
Do you feel like you'll need to use it?
Nah, I think I mean, if I use it against the cops, I'm dead. And I think all the people that hate us and, want to say to us are too big of to stop and actually do anything about it, so.
I put that out because I thought the community needed to know, and maybe in hindsight, it wasn't the best thing to do. But I stand by what I did. She was down there peacefully protesting for several days with the firearm. And he said he would not point it at cops because he knew he'd get shot. So when you tell the citizens of Austin that I'm going to march wherever I want to, and you can't do anything because you're a bunch of, to me, that's relevant.
We really have to start doing something about it. They're actually killing us. They're actually killing us.
Let's talk about this, Daryl. Listen, I'm really conflicted on how to talk about and frame these motherfuckers running over protesters with their cars. Because I'm concerned and nervous as a leftist that I don't want to normalize the concept of fucking running people over with their cars. I don't want to contribute to the normalization of that. These Reddit threads and 4chan threads, they're talking and making memes and jokes about this shit all day. But there's been at least 70 accounts that...
Yeah.
And
not just talk, and not just running over people. They were also talking about they're also shooting. We just seen
That's right.
We've seen Garrett Foster, and now if everything is true, that person who shot Garrett Foster traveled about an hour and a half to Austin, Texas, to, as we've seen in his social media, kill Antifa, to attack Antifa. For some strange reason, the police let him go, let him off.
What do you know about that?
And then and let him go just so when we have a vigil for Garrett Foster down there, he shows up to mock it.
In Reno, Daryl, it was going on 6 years now. There was an Indigenous Peoples Day, not Columbus, but so few people from the local tribes had done a rally, marched to. You've been to Reno. You know the Reno Arch on Virginia Street.
I've never been to
Oh, you haven't? I thought you'd been here before. Well, there's a big neon sign that covers the Virginia Street, the main strip that all the casinos are on. Okay.
I've seen pictures of it.
And about 2-3 blocks from there is what we call Believe Plaza, and there's a big statue of the letters that make out the word believe. So most of our rallies and marches begin in Believe Plaza because it's an amazing place to rally, right? A huge statue that says believe. But on this occasion, I'd say, 15, 20 people from the indigenous, they had a rally. They marched up to the Reno Arch, and we're going to stand under the arch for literally like 10 minutes, have prayer, chant, and then move on. And this asshole rolls up with his truck, revving his shit, runs through the crowd, puts a grandmother in the hospital, breaks her hip. Turns himself in, just like this asshole that shot Garrett, and gets charged ultimately with a gross misdemeanor. They let him go that night that he turned himself in.
Mm-hmm. I think.
Attempted murder of a group of people, and this is even before. That was the first thing. That was the first account of a vehicle being used as a weapon against demonstrators that had come across my radar. And like I said, this is about 5.5, 6 years ago. But anyway, I'll let you go. But
I think one of the things that we're just going to have to be aware of is the fact that we do have to start protecting ourselves. Yes. I think that we, for the most part, yeah, we are aware of that. We just have to be a little bit more assertive in that regard.
I agree.
I mean, fact of the matter, if I think about what happened in just outside St. Louis when they were marching, and that attorney couple came out of their house with their firearms and stuff. Right. I keep telling people, look, if I saw a firearm, she was pointing her gun at everybody.
Yep.
If I saw that, she would have got a bullet in the head. She would have. Because the moment that I see that, she's a threat. She's the threat. Not people walking past her house.
That's right.
She's the threat. And who knows what you can't wait until after she pulls the trigger. So if somebody saw that, they would have had to take matters into their hands. They would have to protect themselves and the people around them, because she's about to shoot as far as you're concerned.
And she was holding finger on trigger the whole time too. So it's that gun could have gone off at any time.
Only thing I would have saw, I wouldn't even seen the trigger. I wouldn't have had to seen the trigger.
Sure.
I would have just seen her pointing, and that's, you do not aim your firearm at anything you don't intend to shoot. And if you're pointing it at me, you're intending to shoot me. You're going down. You're going down. And that's the attitude everyone really does need to have. No, we do not want that kind of escalation.
That's
no,
right.
We do not want to see people die. But when I say we don't want to see people die, that includes me.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, if these guys see video of the person who tries to use their car as a weapon, and then because they're rolling through hundreds of people. Look, I know that car's dangerous, and I'm never going to say put yourself in front of a speeding car, but like I have been saying, I'm anticipating seeing the video where that driver gets pulled out of the car and dealt with, and I think when we start seeing that video, as opposed to hitting the crowd and then pulling off, or what was that one car that hit the person and then swerved around to hit him again and then took off? Remember that? I mean, like, that's the video we're seeing that gives your average, Chad at home who thinks the Antifas are coming to his house someday. He's going to get out and think it's okay. But if they see that video, that there's repercussions for that choice.
Once the repercussions are made clear, see, it's a very interesting thing. It's a very interesting thing. Whenever these things happen, they don't stop until we make a move to stop it. And then the attitude from both right wing and liberals is, y'all both need to calm down.
Yeah.
We got to stop you both because you're going to kill each other. It's like, well, we wanted you guys to take care of them before.
Right. So
since you guys didn't, we will. And I think that's the message we got to convey. Since we're not just we are exercising our freedom of speech, and you're saying nothing. You're saying nothing. Matter of fact, you are saying something to us. We shouldn't exercise our freedom of speech that way. That's right. There is no way that you will be happy with. So our attitude is, if you're going to be cool with people running us over, then you're going to have to be cool with us handling that person, since you can't.
To me, that just seems like really, really fundamentally basic logic. If you take 2,000 pounds of metal and try to hurl it at me to murder me, I do believe I'm in my rights to do whatever I can to survive that.
I think it's really important to have this conversation, because I don't think a lot of times we have been so conditioned to try to keep things peaceful. That we do not feel that we have the right to protect ourselves. And it was like one of these songs back in the day. There was a song, Michael Franti. He had the band Spearhead at the time. And he had a line, particularly a bohemian kind of brother, but he had a line that says, a piece of peace for you, a piece of peace for me, a piece of peace for every single person that you see. And that was the chorus. But the last line of that chorus was, but I don't act peaceful if you're not that way to me.
We go forth as human beings to remove these pigs, these hogs in the power structure, murdering and brutalizing people not only here, confines of racist second in America, but murdering and brutalizing and oppressing people all over the world. And when we go forth to deal with them, and they're going to always sit out there racist, scary, rotten pigs to occupy the people, to occupy the community, such as the way they have this park here occupied. Now, just a second. As a lesson that Minister of Defense UEP Duke teaches, that whenever the people disagree with the political decisions that have been made upon their heads, that whenever the people disagree with those political decisions, the racist power structure sends in guns and force to see that the people accept those political decisions. But we are here as revolutionaries to let them know that we refuse to accept those political decisions that maintain the oppression of our black people and other people in the world.
Essentially, what we're gonna do is throw a lot of banana peels around Chicago and have the machine stumble. And when it stumbles and it gets into a policy of overkill, and it starts to devour itself.
So the cops are going to turn on themselves?
But they'll at least,
How do you get
they'll
enough
be
time?
fighting. They'll be fighting other people in power. See, in Grand Central Station, They weren't just clubbing us long hairs, you see. They started to take on commuters, you know, and people coming home from the opera, and mayor's officials who were wandering around, and FBI agents who were there in secret, disguised as hippies. They're all getting clubbed just like us. It's just another theater prop. I can't shoot it for shit. See, I could hold you off forever just by using theatrical techniques. I'll show you. See, oh, you be straight. I'll be straight, right? And you push me, give me the cops. Come on, man, you fucker! Come on, take me! See, you ain't gonna touch me. You convince them that you're crazy enough to do anything, and then they won't touch you.
I mean, we're getting ourselves all together.
Well, see, what the Democratic Party, look at their theater, right? International Anthem Theater. Have you ever been down there?